Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11 Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11 Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we
A first for Fulton County, why they're moving testing sites to the neighborhood streets. Some of the metro's most popular malls getting the green light to reopen, the safety measures they're expected to follow, and the effect COVID-19 is having on children and their health. Pediatricians are seeing a dip in patient exams, the message they have for parents.
Live from the 11 Alive studios, our special coronavirus coverage, Facts Not Fear, starts now.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday for Facts Not Fear at noon. We are tracking the latest on the coronavirus crisis in Georgia. But first, let's turn to meteorologist Chesley McNeil, tracking severe thunderstorms expected to move into our area in just a few hours. What's the timeline here, Chesley?
I'm thinking after about 3 o'clock this afternoon, Sheba, is when we'll start to see that. Not much right now. As you can see on the radar, we do have some clouds in place and some light showers down toward Troop Meriwether County heading into Coweta County. The activity will take place a little bit later on this afternoon as a cold front that's back off to the west will swing through. We'll start to see this line of showers and thunderstorms really start to pick up and get active off to our west, then swing through our area. In fact, Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma has a slight risk for severe weather over our area. That's a level 2 out of a possible 5. From Rome to Athens, Atlanta, down to the south toward Macon is where we could see that. The main threat will be the damaging winds. Could be some very strong winds out there, some very heavy rain, and we cannot rule out a brief spin-up tornado or two in the area. Now, again, the timing will be about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll start to see these scattered showers and thunderstorms really begin to pop up. They'll have some damaging winds associated with it. The threat will be around from 3 till about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to keep that threat around the forecast area. A lot of that moving over toward the east by 11 o'clock tonight, and then we'll begin to clear it out as we head through the overnight going into Thursday. Thursday will feature a mix of sun and clouds and certainly some cooler temperatures coming our way. And so that's what we'll be looking for. Again, the severe weather possibility this afternoon and tonight. We'll clear it out tomorrow and then get some sunshine as we head into the weekend. In fact, temperatures will be warming up. 81 on Saturday, 85 by Sunday. Sheba?
Good enough, Chesley. Thank you. And now to the latest on COVID-19. At this hour, the state is reporting 1,052 people who've died in Georgia, more than 25,000 confirmed cases across the state. Fulton County, one of the hardest hit areas, continues to ramp up testing. Starting today, its Board of Health opening up new neighborhood locations where people can simply walk up. No card necessary. Nick Sturdivant is in Southwest Atlanta with more on the efforts there.
I'm here at the Magee Tennis Center in Southwest Atlanta. This is an effort to expand testing, but one of the biggest differences compared to the drive-through testing is that people can walk up and simply get tested. Over the next few days, neighborhood testing sites will be popping up in neighborhoods across Fulton County to test people with COVID-19 symptoms, including new symptoms recently added by the CDC, like chills, shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and loss of taste or smell. I was told to make sure people that are walking up are safe along with the staff, they're having people do the nasal swab themselves. Also, workers have on masks, but the goal in all of this is to make sure it is easier to get tested in a community that needs it.
It's also been a very hard hit area. And so we definitely want to make sure that the residents of Southwest Atlanta have full access to testing just like everybody else.
And this is free COVID-19 testing. You don't need ID, and the staff will be back out here at the Magee Tennis Center again in Southwest Atlanta tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Some progress. In just 2 days, some of the busiest shopping centers in the state will reopen. That's according to an internal memo CNBC obtained by the Simon Property Group. Those properties include Lenox Square, Phipps Plaza, Mall of Georgia, plus 4 other properties in Georgia. In the memo, the company says there will be strict safety measures in place to protect both workers and customers. That includes requiring employees to wear masks. They're also encouraged to take regular breaks to wash their hands. As for shoppers, CDC-approved masks and hand sanitizing packets will be made available. Simon will also have free temperature testing. It's also encouraging stores to use options for no-contact transactions. 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks, and we're asking, do you think it's a good idea to reopen malls on Friday? So far, more than 80% of you, 82% to be exact, are saying no. You can weigh in at 11alive.com/vote. Right now, only Simon Property Group says it's planning to reopen this week, at least according to that internal memo. Ponce City Market plans to reopen its food hall in mid-May, while the owners of Perimeter Mall tell us they are, quote, closely monitoring the situation. New numbers showing the virus continues to slam the U.S. economy. The gross domestic product, or GDP, plunging by nearly 5% last quarter. That's the steepest decline in our country's total value of goods produced since the Great Recession of 2008-2009. That's not surprising. The pandemic forcing thousands of businesses to at least partially close. 26 million Americans have filed for unemployment over the past 5 weeks. And consumer spending, which drives around 2/3 of economic growth, has plummeted. Forecasters say the drop is a troubling sign of what's ahead in the next quarter, shadowing more business shutdowns and layoffs. Experts warning that easing restrictions too soon in Georgia could cause us to see a second outbreak of coronavirus cases by this summer. A new COVID-19 simulator predicting a rise in cases and deaths after restrictions are lifted. The research model, developed in part by Georgia Tech to contributors, makes it projections based on how long shelter-in-place orders last. For Georgia, the simulator estimates more than 23,000 deaths by August if restrictions were lifted 4 weeks from now. In comparison, the simulator projects the number of deaths would drop to 1,900 if people were to shelter in place for another 12 weeks. Researchers say the data shows the sooner the restrictions are lifted, the greater the chance for a second wave of cases.
If we go through a second wave and if the cases increase significantly as we project based on our model, there is a good chance that we may go back to what we are experiencing now. We may go back to these restrictions.
Governor Kemp says his team has taken various models into account. It is not clear which ones were specifically used in the decision to reopen the state. This is new at noon. The University of Georgia planning to resume in-person classes by August. In a letter to faculty, staff, and students, UGA's president says the path to reopen the campus will not be easy. He also says he's working with 4 other presidents in the University System of Georgia on a staggered, phased-in approach to reopening. Right now, UGA's May and summer semester courses remain online. Right now, some college students in Georgia are at risk of losing their scholarships unless school leaders overhaul its grading system. Here's what they're asking. They're asking the University System of Georgia to institute a pass-fail system instead of the traditional letter grades. Dozens of students from every public college in the state joined a Zoom call yesterday asking for help, arguing the transition to remote learning has been rocky, to say the least. And while many colleges across the country have instituted pass-fail options, the University System of Georgia has not. In a statement, a spokesperson said, quote, "We are confident our students will rise to the challenge and the USG will do everything in its power to help them do so. We trust our faculty to teach and grade students effectively."
And they're scared to come out, and they're scared really to come into a medical facility of all places.
Pediatricians seeing more and more appointments being canceled amid social distancing. The options you still have to make sure your child is healthy from afar. Plus, 11 Alive medical correspondent Dr. Sujatha Reddy is answering your coronavirus questions. Let us know if you have one by texting us. The number is right there on your screen, 404-885-7600. Again, it's 404-885-7600. Please include your name.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
In times of great
It is a worrisome trend for children's health. Pediatricians estimate up to 80% of kids are not seeing their doctor right now. Liza Lucas talks to the head of the American Academy of Pediatrics about the pandemic's impact.
It's another side effect of COVID-19 that has doctors disturbed. Young children missing appointments with their pediatrician.
We think it's because parents have been told to stay home and they're scared to come out and they're scared really to come into a medical facility of all places.
Dr. Sally Goza is president of the American Academy of Pediatrics and practices in Fayetteville, Georgia. She says doctors not having an eye on young patients can mean both physical and mental repercussions.
We don't need a measles outbreak or a pertussis outbreak, and we don't need babies getting meningitis, which those are the things that they're vaccinated for. So that's very important to make sure we maintain that vaccine rate so that children are protected. We're also concerned about the anxiety and depression that these children are feeling. We're seeing anxiety in really young children because their routine is all messed up.
The Academy recommends well child care in person when possible, but Dr. Goza says parents should know that pediatricians are also getting innovative.
Telehealth has taken off. A lot of people are doing virtual visits for things that we can do.
While other possible solutions include staggering patients with well visits in the morning and sick visits in the afternoon, keeping separate entrances, requiring masks, and having patients wait in the car to avoid the waiting room.
There are also times where we're going out to the cars and seeing patients in their cars, listening to their lungs or looking their ears.
With new measures in place, Dr. Goza urges families to call their pediatrician rather than cancel because of the pandemic.
We are here to take care of your children. We are here to help the family, and we want you to know that.
Well, the doctor also says she's concerned Georgia may be opening up businesses a little too soon, and she's encouraging parents to continue social distancing to make sure kids stay safe, make sure their kids do this. We know you have a lot of questions about the information you're seeing and hearing. 11 Alive medical correspondent Dr. Sujatha Reddy is here. She's back helping give you facts, not fear, about COVID-19. So let us know if you have a question by texting 404-885-7600. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Reddy.
Hi, Shiva.
So businesses, some of them have opened back up and the fears have begun again. So I'm glad you're back to answer some more questions for us. Let's start with this question from a viewer. They want to know, why don't we know if people who've recovered are immune or not?
Yeah, and the short answer there is because it's such a new virus. But if we look at our history with the other coronaviruses like SARS and MERS, antibodies seem to afford immunity. We just don't know that yet, but I think in general we're hopeful and we think that there's enough science to say it probably does. We just don't know for how long. We do feel it will be for the short term, but no one can say that for 100% yet.
Do you feel like they'll have an answer soon on this?
I do. I think there's so much research going on all around the world, and I think that's so exciting to see the collaborative efforts of everybody working together. I do think we'll have info on that sooner than later.
Yeah, especially this antibody testing. I think all of it looks really promising. Okay, so Brad wants to know, does all of this extra sanitizing put our immune systems at risk? Don't we build up tolerance by being exposed to some germs?
Yeah, and that's a really good question, Brad, and it highlights an important point, especially as we try to get out there back into our normal routines. You know, I think always soap and water is best. So if you have the opportunity, wash your hands with soap and water. I think hand sanitizer is a great option, especially when we're out and maybe there isn't a sink, but he's correct. Using it all the time isn't going to be the best thing. It is definitely not better than soap and water, and some bacteria is necessary. But I think in the short run, you're not going to hurt yourself, but I think it's important to remember soap and water is best.
Okay. One of our viewers asked, do you know if the blood sample test for COVID-19 is as accurate as the swab test?
And that's a good question. I think it's important to delineate the difference here again. There was talk about doing blood tests to diagnose COVID-19 early on, but that is not how we're doing it. We're diagnosing infection by the swab in the nose, trying to grow the virus or find the virus in the nose. The blood test is looking for the antibody to the virus, which tells you at some point you had a previous infection and your body has now responded and you're building antibodies. The antibody tests are felt to be accurate. Having said that, the FDA is trying to do this stuff very quickly, and so far a handful of tests have been given an FDA authorization, not quite an approval, but still better than nothing. So if you're going to do the blood test, try to do one of those. I think we will see more FDA tests authorized and hopefully approved, but they're different tests, but so far they both seem to be accurate. But I would rely on the FDA approved ones before I just went to one I found online.
Yeah, and if you think you have coronavirus, you need to get the swab test. That's so important. Don't try to get,
if you think
don't try to get in the antibody
infection
one.
Or symptoms, you need the swab. Correct.
Okay. Addie shared, my volleyball club just said we would start practice in a few weeks. Should I wear anything to protect me? And what should I do to stay safe? I'm not at high risk.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're not at high risk, but we know that this virus is equal opportunity. You know, this is a little bit of a tough one. I think when we're out in public, wearing a mask is going to be helpful. It is hard to exercise, though, with a mask on, and I'm sure your volleyball practices are pretty, you know, aggressive and your heart rate goes up. So if you can wear a mask and possibly even goggles, that would be advisable, but I'm not sure that's practical. I think you're going to have to take it on a case-by-case basis. I also don't know, you know, maybe during practices you can social distance, but I don't see how you would do that on a team in a game. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a personal thing. It's going to be a little creative, but optimally, I would recommend people wear masks, especially in the short term right now. Maybe down the road we can loosen that.
A volleyball club. Yeah. I don't see the mask with that one either. All right, this next viewer texted, can the virus be transferred through chickens at a processing plant to another company or business?
Yeah, you know, we're hearing about a lot of meat processing plants having these outbreaks. Now, the CDC actually just issued some guidelines specifically for people working in meat processing plants. And we've all said this, and they reiterate the fact that the workers aren't getting the coronavirus because of contaminated food. Coronavirus is not a foodborne illness. The reason you're seeing these outbreaks in these plants is the meat processing employees are often in very close contact. They cannot social distance, you know, at least for now. And so they've been working long shifts in close quarters. So it's not from the meat, it's just person to person, like we're all worried about. The food supply is safe.
Okay, so they can't pass coronavirus onto our meat and we ingest it at home.
Correct.
Okay. All right, Dr. Reddy, don't go anywhere. We'll check back in with you with some more coronavirus questions. I see that you're at the office today, so I like this new setting. Keep sending your questions our way. It is 404-885-7600. Remember, text, don't call. Please include your name. Text away. We'll be back.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11 Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases.
And welcome back to Facts Not Fear, joined live by Dr. Reddy answering all of your health questions regarding coronavirus. Let's pick it up with Deborah, who shared there continue to be new positive COVID-19 tests. Where do you think these people are contracting the virus with all our precautions in place?
Yeah, and we have to think that that's happening when people possibly can't social distance, things where they're around other people. I think we've definitely seen social distancing works. All of us staying home has absolutely helped. We didn't overpower our hospitals and our intensive care units, but there are still cases out there. Like I have friends that are physicians who in the last week or two have contracted COVID-19 because again, when you're seeing patients, you can't always socially distance. So there's still going to be exposures, and that is why we're reopening slowly, I think, to kind of see how it goes. But there's no question that social distancing works, and in the cases that we're seeing, it's got to be from people who maybe had close contact and didn't realize.
Yeah, and the silent carriers, people who have absolutely no symptoms at all and are passing it on to other people.
Which is why I think when we're outside and we think about talking to people or meeting our friends, I think it's really a good thing to think about that the person you're talking to, assume they have COVID-19. And realize that everyone that you're exposed to everybody else they've been exposed to. But if you think that everyone around you could have it and you react that way, you're going to keep yourself safe.
I think we just want a hug right now, Dr. Reddy.
I know, me too.
All right, Sam texted, I had 2 bouts with what the doctor called bronchitis in November and again in January. They ruled out pneumonia with an x-ray, but never seemed to qualify my diagnosis, and the meds never seemed to work. Should I get tested for coronavirus? I'm wondering if Sam wanted to say, should I get tested? Should I get the antibody test? So what do you think here?
I think you're exactly right. That's probably what Sam is thinking, and I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to do it. I don't think I've rushed to do it. I think we're going to get really good tests. Right now, they're preliminary. Again, there's 4 that have been authorized. I would stick to those because the ones that haven't been looked at, you just don't know how accurate they're going to be. Yeah. But yeah, he or she, I don't know if it's Sam as a man or a woman, but he or she may benefit from the antibody test down the road, and that will help you figure out maybe you did have coronavirus.
Yeah, they're a little pricey too, so maybe hold off a little longer while they're still tweaking it. Aisha wants to know, what are the lasting effects of COVID-19 once you've recovered? I've heard reports of people being on dialysis, having permanent lung damage. I'd like to add to this, Dr. Reddy, I've heard of a possible connection to lung cancer.
So as far as the permanent damage, for the people that get the mild symptoms, we're really not expecting any permanent damage. We're not seeing that. For the people that were in the hospital and had the major complications, unfortunately, yes, there can be permanent damage. People have had blood clots. People have had heart attacks. So yeah, there can be permanent damage for the people that had the severe infections in the hospital. Some of them are having to undergo physical therapy to get their strength back. And yeah, if you had a blood clot or kidney failure, there's going to be consequences of that. I'm not aware of the coronavirus increasing the risk of any kind of cancer, but I could see it could make it harder to treat cancer because of the illness you're already dealing with.
All right, Dr. Reddy, always so helpful. helping us separate the facts here and calm some of the fears as well. We appreciate your time on this Wednesday.
Thanks, Sheba.
Have a great one. We'll be back, everybody.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11 Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage.
It is no doubt a challenging time for all of us, but so many of you are getting creative and still celebrating life's milestones. Photojournalist Pete Smith shows us how some friends didn't let a special day go by unnoticed.
It's our dearest friend Deanna's birthday. So we decided to be responsible but still celebrate.
The way we have to do it now, right? We have to do it with a parade. So she thinks that there's only going to be like 6 of us, but what she doesn't know is that we've actually been able to coordinate just tons of her friends that wanted to come and show their love and support for her. Wow. That she has stage 4 colon cancer, and we have actually not seen her since about the 2nd week of March.
Incredible. Wow.
It's amazing.
I feel so loved and I can't get over it. Like I keep replaying it. I can't get over it. I cannot.
Look at the twirler in the back. Let us know the good things you see happening around you. Use the hashtag SendTheLoveATL or email us whereatlantaspeaks@11alive.com. And this reminder, stay on top of that severe weather we're watching for you this afternoon, the time frame around 3 p.m. So download the 11 Alive app and we'll keep you updated with the interactive radar. Thank you so much for watching Facts Not Fear at noon, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell. Do stay safe, please.
Who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.